fresh off the G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, everybody. eSIM Studios podcast live stream episode number 192. My name is Taylor Bell. I want to welcome you to the podcast, to the live stream on this Saturday afternoon, August 31st, 2024. My goodness, it is moving. Year's moving on pretty quick. I had Well, before we get started, I want to let everybody know that if you do miss an episode, if you join us halfway through, please check the replay on eSIM Studios YouTube channel. That's our home base, eSIM Studios YouTube channel. My goodness, can't talk today. Also, podcast. We have an audio-only podcast, so wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, where else? Literally on every podcast platform. So we are certified podcast. If you go to wherever you get your podcast, simply search eSIM Studios. We shall emerge on top. We are still holding that number 10 spot in the top 60 tech podcasts in the world. I want to thank all of our listeners and say hello to a special group of people, large percentage of people listening in Southeast Asia. So Vietnam, Singapore. Interesting little fact, going over analytics, just yesterday? Good percentage of our listeners are in Southeast Asia. So a little story, I was wondering why that was for the longest, right? Because I saw that slowly emerging, slowly getting bigger and bigger, the percentage of people listening in Southeast Asia. And I had a user in India, a subscriber in India. I was conversing with him, and I was like, yeah, funny thing is a lot of my listeners are out of the country, like in, I told him Vietnam, or he was in India. I said India. He asked me, do you know why? I said, I have no idea. And he said, well, actually, for people that are trying to learn English, right? So English as a second language, he was telling me that the reason why you have a lot of listeners outside of the country is that when people are trying to learn English, the easiest way for them to learn a second language, such as English, is if they listen and or follow topics that they're interested in, right? So I was like, damn, that makes a lot of sense, because it's a lot easier to learn something if you're interested in it. I'm the first one to admit that. Did not do good in Spanish. Well, when I was 18, I didn't care about Spanish, right? Now I wish I paid attention. Back then, I didn't care. But it does make a lot of sense. So it explains why I do have a lot of listeners outside of the country. So I want to thank everybody for supporting the YouTube channel and supporting the podcast. So as we roll in, we'll cover a couple topics, but I wanted to discuss. So I was thinking yesterday, after the show ended yesterday, I was thinking, right now, there's so many phenomenal Android devices. I mean, right now is the best time ever as far as Android phones go. You have Samsung with not only their foldables that they just came out with, right? But they have their S24 series is phenomenal. Even the base models are pretty damn good. Then you got the Pixel 9 series. Freaking maybe the best device of the year. I mean, at the end of the year, I'm gonna have a very, very hard time selecting end of the year accolades. You have OnePlus, right? Phenomenal device. OnePlus 12. They're coming out with the OnePlus 13. And then you have Nothing. Obviously, they're pushing back their Nothing Phone 3 till next year, but they have my favorite device. Sorry. You have my favorite device that I love to use, the Nothing Phone 2A. And going down to the budget selection, the CMF Phone 1. $200 phone and it performs like a $800 phone. So no matter what your price range is for Android, whether you want a flagship device, S24 Ultra, Z Fold 6, all the way up to $2,000 a phone, all the way down to $200. You cannot go wrong with a Samsung, with a Nothing phone, with a OnePlus device, and a Pixel. Cannot go wrong with either one of them. Now, I would not suggest the Samsung A series. I would rather have a Nothing phone 2A or CMF phone, but that's just me. But point is, I was thinking that last night, right? But then my next thought was, if you're an iPhone user, if you're an Apple user, right now, this very second, might be the very best time to try Android, right? So if you've never tried, if you're a lifelong Apple user, if you're a lifelong iPhone user, now I know the new iPhone 16s are coming out, but here's why I came to my conclusion of now's the best time to try Android. Because iPhone is coming out with the iPhone 16, and it's basically the same phone. Again, how many times, how many years in a row have we said that? 5, 6 years in a row. Basically the same phone. Same design language. Camera array, the camera setup looks the same. Same design, same front, same back, same sides, same everything. Again. So if you're kind of getting bored, now's the best time to try an Android, because if you're going to skip the iPhone 16, if you're not going to upgrade, I think now's the best time to get into Android. Again, there are phenomenal products at each and every price point, budget, mid-range, flagship, and then the ultra premium, I guess, is a class of its own. Because listen, this new iPhone 16 that's coming out is a repeat from years past, so nothing new. Now, right now is the best time to switch to Android if you want to try it, because you're going to see a lot of changes with Apple in the near future. So this iPhone 16 coming out, again, same device. However, iPhone 17 series is when they're coming out with the iPhone 17 Air. That device, they're going to remove the iPhone 17 Plus and insert the iPhone 17 Air. The iPhone 17 Air is going to be a paper thin, not literally, but figuratively, it's going to be like 3 or 4 millimeters thick. I mean, I say paper thin, and it's not that far off. That's going to be a huge, gigantic deal in the tech world. I can promise you that. And then iPhone 18 series, Apple's going to start producing these iPhone flips. So you're going to get for the 17 here in the near future, I guess 2 years from now, you're going to get a razor thin phone, and then the year after that, Apple's going to start producing the iPhone flip and iPad flip, right? So you can see Apple is going to start to take off, but you still have to wait another year, which is why I get back to my point of saying, if you want to try Android, now's the best time. You do not have to kick your iPhone to the curb. So I'm a strong proponent, if you can afford it, right? These are first world problems, right? I understand some parts of the world, here in the U.S., obviously more fortunate than other parts of the world where you might have a little extra money to burn, or you may work those few extra hours of overtime, and after a few months, you can accumulate a little extra money to spend on another phone. But you don't even have to get another flagship Android device. $200, get one of these. Try it. This is the best phone to try Android out. If you don't want to shell out $1,000 for an S24 Ultra, very expensive. I understand it. You can keep your iPhone. I'm a big proponent of having two phones. You can keep your iPhone, keep your iPhone 14, whatever, iPhone 15. $200. You can get your feet wet with Android. This is a phenomenal starter device. It has Android. It has an SD card slot. It is smooth as butter. As you can tell, it's dead. $200 gets you in the door. This is the very best phone. Don't get anything else. If you're going budget, if you're cost conscious, don't get a budget a Samsung phone. Don't get a whatever they have now, A50, whatever it's called. Get a nothing phone. Get a nothing phone. Nothing. Well, I guess this is technically CMF phone, but get a CMF phone 1. I was going to turn it on and show y'all, but it's dead. Now, if you want to take a step above that, something a little more better, a little more performance, a little better hardware, get a nothing phone 2A. I think brand new they're $400. You could probably get a used one for like $300. And then you can go up from there. But these two are the best two phones to dabble in if you want to get your feet wet with Android. Just get used to the operating system. Now, this is very close to stock Android. What do I mean by stock Android? Stock Android is AOSP. Essentially is like the Pixel operating system, right? So the Pixel is the cream of the crop when it comes to stock Android. You get the Pixel experience. This basically has the same operating system. Now, the widgets and the icons look different, but guess what? You can change them to look like the Pixel. So this operating system can basically mirror the Pixel experience, right? Cameras aren't too shabby. I know Pixel's got the best cameras, but look, pay $400, this will get the job done for sure if you're wanting to get into the game. And then, of course, if you want to get rid of your iPhone, get something more premium, obviously, next step up would be the S24 Plus or the OnePlus 12, right? This brand new is $1,000. However, you can get a used phone, a good condition, S24 Plus, $500-600. You can get a nothing. Geez, why do I call it a nothing? You can get a OnePlus 12 for probably around the same, $500-600. This takes the best pictures out of the two. Now, if you want to step up premium flagship devices, go and get you an S24 Ultra, right? Get you one of these. Or you want to step up, if you do a lot of vlogging, if you take a lot of pictures, if you record a bunch, you do videos, you got little kids, you got dogs, pets that you take pictures of, take snaps of, get a Pixel, best camera phone out, right? Google Experience. All of these devices get updated monthly. All of these devices are very secure. All of these devices have a very fluid, very smooth operating system. And it's easy to learn if you're an iPhone user. Now, the easiest phone to switch to get to learn, I would choose a nothing phone and or a Pixel. That is the simplest operating system, meaning not too many settings, not too many adjustments. It's pretty easy to learn. Now, a step up from that is Samsung. Samsung's great because they have every option under the sun you can think of baked into their operating system. However, there is a learning curve if you switch to Samsung. So I know iPhone users out there very picky, right, when it comes to operating systems, especially if you're used to iOS. Those users, those people out there, those listeners out there that actually use both iPhone and Android know what I'm talking about. However, if you have been a lifelong iPhone user and there's some people out there that have never used Android at all, the best phone to switch to, in my opinion, is the Pixel. But again, if you want to spend less money just to try it out, $200 to get you in the game. Very simple operating system, as I mentioned, very, very similar to a Pixel device. I know a lot of people give me a pushback on that, but I have recorded a video probably about 6 months ago with the Nothing Phone 2 and the Pixel 8 Pro. Pretty damn close when it comes to operating system, right? pretty damn close. And this has the same operating system as the Nothing Phone 2. So I think the best time to try Android is right now, this second, especially since iPhone is going to release the 16, which is here in just over a week. And again, basically the same phone. So if you're tired of iPhone, if you're tired of Apple putting out the same crap every year, before they start to change their design and change the look of the iPhone, now's the best time to switch to Android or try Android. Now, if you want to go back, right, if you want to try Android for a year and then you want to go back to iPhone when they released the iPhone 17 Air, look, that's your business. I'm not going to criticize you for that. Or if you're going to go back and say, you know what, when Apple releases that iPhone Flip, I'm going to get that iPhone Flip. Hey, more power to you. These flip phones are freaking badass. And I think an iPhone Flip is going to be pretty cool. And I'm not the biggest Apple fan out there, or supporter, or user. Now, am I a hypocrite? Maybe, but I'm doing it for the channel. So I am planning on getting an iPhone 16 Pro because I'm doing the opposite of what I'm preaching. Now, not the opposite, but I'm a lifelong Android user. I have used iPhone in the past. So let me take you through the iPhones I've had. I've had a... Was it the original iPhone or the iPhone... Okay, it was the original iPhone. I had the original iPhone, iPhone 1. I had the iPhone 3GS. I've had iPhone 8 Plus. And I'm trying to think. I briefly had an iPhone 12 for maybe a month. And I had an iPad Mini 6 for about 2 months. And that's it. So out of my... When did smartphones come out? 2008 was when Google released their first G1. So about 16 years? So out of those 16 years, I've used that total time, I've probably used an iPhone 1 year out of those 16 years. Just added up time-wise. So I'm heavy Android user, probably 95% of the time. I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to give Apple another shot with an iPhone 16 Pro. Now, I've always thought the Pro Maxes are too big. I've always thought the Pros are too small. This year, they're actually making the iPhone Pro Max, 16 Pro Max, even bigger. It's going to be 6.9-inch display, so that's out of the question. However, they are making the iPhone 16 Pro a little bigger, up to a 6.34-inch display, and the 15 Pro is a 6.1. Now, I'm going to use it not as a personal phone. I'm going to use it as a testing device. So you're going to see here in the future iPhone 16 Pro versus the Pixel 9 Pro XL or Pixel 9 Pro camera test. You're going to see iPhone 16 Pro battery test between versus the S24 Plus. You're going to see iPhone 16 Pro video test versus Nothing Phone 2. You're going to see battery drain test, iPhone 16 Pro versus the OnePlus 12. Just anything you can think of, I'm going to put it out there. So I need to add more Apple content to the channel. For better or for worse, I think mostly better. I know most of my subscribers are Android users, but it'll give us a good comparison of the whole, you get the best of both worlds, and then we can really start to see which devices are the best, right? And I'm going to be honest, as honest as I can be when it comes to photo tests, when it comes to battery drain tests, when it comes to whatever I do. I'm going to make sure that my tests are as fair as possible, and whatever gets the best result, I'll present it as such, right? So I'm not going to rig these tests to make Android win every single thing. We'll make it as fair as possible, and may the best phone win. So we will be adding an iPhone to the arsenal here sometime soon. I hope my iCloud account still works, because Apple did ban me from... They froze my iCloud account, I think, after I made that video. What video was it? It was the Nothing Phone 2... Oh, it was the Sunbird app, where you can message, if you're an iPhone user, you can message an Android phone and get the blue bubbles still. So it's basically like an iMessage hack. So after I put out a few videos about that and how to essentially hack your iMessage, my iCloud account just buffers every time I try to log in. So may have to come up with a new iCloud account, and or I don't know how that's going to work, but we're going to get one and I'll let you know. So if it's still blocked, or if I'm still blocked from my iCloud account, I guess we'll find out. So stay tuned for that. But point of the thumbnail, point of the podcast episode is, I think right now is the very best time, if you're an iPhone user, to give Android a try. Again, phenomenal choices at any price point. If you need a recommendation, if you're an iPhone user and you're stuck between two devices and you don't really know what device is the best, is it A or B, or hey, does phone A have a better camera system than phone B? Hit me up. I've been more than happy to answer any or all of your questions, really. All my contact information you can find in the bottom in the description. I have my email there, as well as social media accounts. So if you have any questions about whatever, hit me up, and I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions, because I may not be the most knowledgeable person, but I do know quite a bit more than the average person. So when it comes to all sorts of stuff, so phone-wise, tech-wise. So yeah. So that's my opinion, and as I mentioned, I'm going to do the opposite. Lifelong Android user. But you know what's funny? I see the same content creators, whenever a new Pixel comes out or a new Samsung comes out, they always say, have you seen those YouTube thumbnails where it says lifelong Apple fanboy tries Pixel for the first time? I can't remember his name. There's this one content creator. There's this one YouTube channel. And I've been noticing this. So after every flagship launch for Android, whether it's a Samsung or the Pixel, or I think he did one for the OnePlus as well, lifelong Apple fanboy tries Android for the first time, or tries Pixel for the first time, or tries Samsung for the first time. I'm like, really, dude? You've put out 15 of these videos over the last 3 years. Like, you're not trying it for the first time. Like, you're basically lying to your viewers. But it is what it is. Whatever. I'm not going to call them out. They can do whatever they want. Okay. Any news? Let me share my screen and we shall dig into it real quick. I gotta run here shortly, but we shall see. Oh, also, I am getting a new... Minas Forum is sending a new mini PC over. I believe they're sending I just got notified yesterday, they're sending the UM790 Pro. So it's a very strong and powerful mini PC. Cannot wait to get that in. So we're going to do testing on that. It's a bare bones model, which means no RAM. no memory. You have to supply that as a user. I told them I got tons of that stuff here. Basically, it's a PC with no RAM and no memory, but no big deal. All you do is stick in the RAM, stick in the memory, and away you go. That's the best way to buy these mini PCs, honestly, in my opinion. And it doesn't take... it's not a big hurdle, right? So all it takes is just 30 minutes of research, and you can figure out what to do. But so be on the lookout for that mini PC, Minisforum mini PC. Let me refresh this here, and we'll see. There was one or two stories I saw here that we will get into. Okay, here's one. So the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Now tomorrow we'll discuss the sales of this year's Samsung foldables. The numbers are way down. The sales for the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 and Z Fold 6 are folding before our very eyes. The sales are as low as they've been in 3 years. So not good news for Samsung. We'll dive into that tomorrow as to why that is. But news is, so we've reported on this a couple times, that Samsung's actually going to release a limited edition Fold 6. It's going to be a razor thin Fold 6. It's going to be the Fold 6 Ultra, I believe. Now, this one is going to have S Pen support. We originally thought it was not going to have S Pen support because it's so thin that it just couldn't encompass the sensors for the pen under the display. But that's not the case. It turns out this new Fold 6 Ultra and or Special Edition will support S Pen. Now, we're not sure if this is going to be sold here in the U.S. We've heard reports that, after seeing the sales numbers for Samsung, I doubt they're going to release this in the U.S. The numbers are that down, are that far down. Probably we heard rumors that it was going to be released only in South Korea, basically home of Samsung. And I think they're going to stick to that after seeing the sales numbers of this year's foldables way down. But noteworthy stuff if you were interested in getting one of those. Does support S Pen. What else do we got real quick? Where are we? Okay, iPhone user, if you're still watching. So Apple's coming out. Here's another cool thing that we will dive into once we get one. Apple Sports app to offer live scores and play-by-play for more leagues on iPhone's lock screen. So they're going to implement a new sports app, right, that'll give you right on your home screen widgets with scores, live updates, and information from your favorite leagues and or teams. It'll encompass the major sports here in the United States: football, basketball, basketball, baseball, and I think they're going to do soccer and maybe F1 racing and stuff like that. So be on the lookout. Now, that's going to be released with iOS 18 and watchOS 11. The Apple Sports app will offer live activities for all teams and leagues available in the app, right on your lock screen and in the dynamic island. What else we got? There's one other. Let's see. Anything else? First peek, S24 FE. Oh yes, we covered this in the FCC filing. And again, for iPhone users, this may be another potential pick. I've never recommended a FE phone from Samsung before, a Fan Edition phone from Samsung before, but I think now is when they change all that. So yeah. That looks like it's... Oh, one last thing. Qualcomm, as you know, which has the Snapdragon X CPUs, right, for laptops. It's a ARM-based CPU, new ARM-based CPU for laptops that competes against the big boys of AMD and Intel. That they just released a number of flagship laptops about 4 months ago. We did get word that soon, and I think it's going to be right around Christmas or before Christmas, make great Christmas presents. Qualcomm is going to release, alongside the manufacturing partners, so Samsung, Dell, HP, Asus, Acer, who else? Whatever, you get the idea. All those manufacturers that launched laptops with the Snapdragon X Elite and or X Plus CPU inside, we're right around the corner from them releasing more affordable Snapdragon X CPU laptops. More affordable as in the cheapest Samsung Snapdragon X Elite or Snapdragon X Plus laptop that you could get when these first launched was, I think, about $1,000 or $1,100, and I think that was like the Lenovo model, which may ended up being the best one out of all of them. But the very cheapest one you can get, I think, was basically $1,000 or $1,100. Now they are in the process of getting some manufacturers on board to release some with these Snapdragon X processors at a more cheaper price, meaning instead of starting out at $1,000 or $1,100, these new Snapdragon X laptops are going to launch at anywhere from I think they said $650 to $850, brand new. So instead of having to drop $1,000 on a brand new laptop, now you can get in on the fun with this new Snapdragon ARM laptop CPU at a third of the price, essentially. So that'll be a welcomed change for many people, including myself. I was interested in getting one, but I'm kind of glad I waited. Took the developers quite a while to get used to this new CPU, because a lot of the games still don't work. Now, I don't play games, so what do I care? But a lot of other things, like I think Google Keep didn't even work, which is weird, but it is what it is. When you've been in an industry dominated by a certain architecture, when you introduce a new architecture, it takes a while for these developers to recode everything and rework everything. And I think by the time these cheaper, more affordable Snapdragon laptops make it to the market, I think by that time, I think a lot of these developers should make the proper adjustments, basically, to where most apps, most sites, most applications and programs should work with this upcoming series of laptops. So again, look for right around the new year, right around Christmas, mid to late December. I think they're going to launch these. So by that time, I think everything should be worked out. So it would be a welcomed product to the market, and I think that might be the time where I pull the trigger on one as well. So I don't need anything super powerful. That's what I have on these mini PCs for. Very powerful. I just need a little something to get some work done on the road. Not on the road, but out of the studio. You know what I mean? Anyways, thank you for watching eSIM Studios live stream podcast episode 192. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Please have a safe and enjoyable Saturday afternoon. I would stay with y'all longer, but I'm up against it. I got some... I have some time constraints. Sorry, I was just looking at the time. But I must run. Don't forget, tune in tomorrow, and we'll have a more long-form, probably do an hour tomorrow, and get that in. So we'll discuss why Samsung numbers are down on foldables, sales numbers are down on foldables, as to why that's the case, and whatever else y'all want to talk about. Maybe we'll do a Q&A episode as well tomorrow. How about that? So get your questions ready, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace.